question? Any of?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Now let us start this question. Question number 15. On the basis of observation made on 30 cotton plants, the total correlation of the yield of cotton that is x1, the number of balls that is second ratios, seed ratios that is x2, and height x3 are found to be. So the relation between first variable and second variable is 0.8. Relation between first and is 0.6. Relation between third is 0.7. Compute the partial correlation between yield of cotton and number of balls. So yield of cotton, that means x1, and number of balls, that means x2. So we want to find out the correlation between x1 and x2, means first variable and second variable, eliminating the effect of height. Height means what? Third variable. So we want to eliminate the effect of third variable, and we have to find out the correlation between first and second. Because there are three variables, it is known as the partial correlation. So partial correlation between 1 and 2, keeping third constant or eliminating the third variable, which is denoted by R, means correlation of 1 and 2 keeping third variable constant. So we have to find out R12 in question number 15. So it is now simple. We have to find out R12.3. What is the formula? Yes, please. Formula of R12.3. What is the formula?
R12
R12.
minus R13
Yes, R13.
into R23
23. Yes, 23. Upon.
upon under root R13 whole square.
Correct. 13 square. Correct. And second root.
1 minus R23 whole square.
Perfect. Perfect. Now just substitute all the values. R12. R12. The value of that is given. zero point 0.8. So this is 0 0.8 minus R13. 0.65 into 0.7. So 0.65 into 0.7 divided by root 1 minus 0.65 square, second root 1 minus 0.7 square. Now this simple calculation, let us do this calculation. 0.65, 0.65 into 0.7,
0.455.
correct, so it is 0.455 upon root 1 minus, yes, 0.42,
4225.
perfect, upon, sorry, into 1 minus 0.49. So what is the value of this? 0.345. And here root, what is the value?
0.5775.
0.75. And here 0.51. Now first of all, see, do one thing, multiply these two numbers, 0.5775 into 0.55, multiply this and then take its square root and tell me. Multiply this and take its square root, like 0.5775 into 0.51, and now its root. You can get direct answer.
0.54.
Correct, 0.5427. And do this calculation.
0.6357.
6357. So this is our final answer, 0.6357. Question number 15, yes, 0.635. That is the answer. So it is simple once you know the formula only. Now see this question. Question number 16. With the help of the following data, determine the regression equation of x1 on x2 and x3 and x2 on x1 and x2, x2 on x1 and x3. So we have to find out regression equation of x1 on x2 and x3. So now see how to find out. Question number 17. Sorry, 16. First, we have to find out regression equation of x1 on x2 and x3. x1 on x2 and x3. What is the form of x1 on x2 and x3? x1 equal to a plus b x2 plus b x3. But here this b and this b, to differentiate that, you have to write symbol 1 2 x1 symbol x2, so 1 2 keeping third constant, and here you can write 1 3.2, 1 and 3 keeping second constant. So now we require b12.3. b12.3, there is a formula for b12.3. It is sigma 1 upon sigma 2 into, yes please, that we already discussed in our previous lecture. See the list of formula. Okay, that is we require to discuss. Okay, we discussed in last lecture only for multiple partial correlation, and we already discussed this one 2.3, but the formula of that. See, what is the formula of B12.3? Do you know what is the formula of BYX? Any of you? Of simple regression? What is the formula of BYX? In simple regression, it is like this: sigma x upon sigma y, sigma x upon sigma y, or sx upon sy. Sorry, sy upon sx, like this. So here instead of x and y, 1 and 2 is there. So if it is 1 and 2, so you have to write sigma 1 here, and here you have to write 2, like this. Same like this, sigma 1 upon sigma 2 into, now instead of r, you have to write r12 minus r1323. Same like this previous one, r1.23. Sorry, R12.3. We know the formula of that. The numerator remains same. Upon, in denominator you have to write 1 minus R23 square. 1 minus R23 square. So only you require to learn this formula. Now substitute all the values. Sigma 1, sigma 2. See the question number 16. Sigma 1, sigma 2 is given 10 divided by 8 into R12. R12 is 0.8. R1323, R1323, 0.6, 0.5. So it is zero point 0.6 into 0.5 upon 1 minus R 0.5 square. So now do the calculation. 10 divided by 6 means 1.25. 0.8 minus 0.3. If you calculate, you will get this 1 minus 0.25. So 1.25 into 0.5 upon 0.75. So we get, what is the calculation? 1.25 into 0.5 divided by 0.75.
1.83.
0.83. So 0.83 is the value of B1 0.83. Okay, then after what we have to calculate? B13.2. B13.2. Okay, now tell me the formula. It is like this only, sigma 1 upon sigma 2. Instead of that, sigma 1 upon sigma 3 into R13, this one 3 minus R12 R32. See here, R13, then R12 R32. In that way you have to learn. And 1 minus R, last one is 32 square. Now put all the values. Sigma 1 is 10. Sigma 3, sigma 3 is 5. R13 is zero point 0.6 minus R12 is zero point 0.8 and this is zero point 0.5 upon 1 minus R32, we know that is same as what R23 and it is zero point 0.5. R32 is same as R23 and it is zero point 0.5. So it is zero point 0.5 square. Calculate this. So obviously this is 2 into this is zero point 0.6 minus zero point 0.4 and this is 1 minus 0.25. So it is 2 into zero point 0.2 divided by 0.75. Do the calculation.
0.53.
0.53, 5333 or 0.533. You can write at least better to write 3 digits instead of 2 digits. Here also you can write 0.833. Okay, so now we know the value of, see, B12.3 and B13.2. Now we require only A. There is a formula of A. See, our actual formula x1 equal to a plus b 12.3 x2 plus b 13.2 x3. Now we know the value of b and b 1.2 and now calculate the value of a. So just take these two terms left side. So x1 minus b12.3 x2 minus b13.2 x3. But instead of x1 x2 x3 you would write x1 bar x2 bar x3 bar and see the value of x1 bar x2 bar and x3 bar. In the question, x1 bar, x2 bar and x3 bar is not given. Maybe in few question it is given, like this question number 18, x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar is given, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 is given, r12, r13 and r23, everything is given. But in this question number 16, x1 bar, x2 bar and x3 bar is not available. So when x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar is not available, you have to assume they are 0. This is assumption. Assume x1 x1 bar x2 bar and x3 bar 0 when it is not given. So obviously we get this 0 and 0 into anything 0 into 0. In short we get a equal to 0. So if x1 bar x2 bar x3 bar are not given, then consider a equal to 0. So this a becomes 0. So our formula becomes, we know everything, a is 0, b12.3 is known and b13.2 is also known. So now the equation, now regression line of x1 on x2 and x3 is x1 equal to a is what, 0 plus b12.3, it is 0.533 x2, sorry, it is 0.833 x2 plus b13.2, that we already calculated, it is 0.533 x3, and if we write without 0 we get the answer. Therefore x1 equal to 0.833 x2 plus 0.533 x3, and once we know this equation by putting value of x2 and x3 we get the value of x1. So that is known about estimated value of x1 for the given value of x2 and x3. If x2 given, maybe in few example it is given like If x1 is this and x2 is this, find x3, like that. If it is possible, when we require, when we have a equation of x3 on x1 and x2. In x3 on x1 and x2 we require x1, we require to estimate the value of x3 by for the given value of x1 and x2. So sometime that is possible. Okay, but now for this question, for this particular question, this is our answer. This is the regression line of x1 on x2 and x3 over. Now we require x2 on x1 and x3. Regression line of x2 on x1 and x3. So equation is x2 equal to a plus b x1 plus b x3, but instead of b you can write 2 1.3, and here you can write 2 3.1. So this is our equation, but to calculate the value of b 12.3 we require to use the formula. Now b 21.3 or 12.3, anyone. Now tell me how to, what is the formula, any of you, just try. Please tell me what is the formula. B121.3. Just try to get the answer. Try to write the
Sigma
formula.
1,
Sigma
sigma 2
2.
upon
Sigma
3.
2. Yeah, sigma 2 divided by sigma 1.
Sigma 1.
This sigma 2 divided by sigma 1. Okay. Into. Yes, now please.
R21.
R21 minus
R1, 2, 3.
2 3. Perfect. And R.
R13.
Very good. Upon 1
Under
minus,
root 1.
no root, no root here. Only simple. 1 minus,
R13 whole square.
correct. Only one term without root. Now put the values. Sigma 2, sigma 1, sigma 2, 8, sigma 1, 10. 8 divided by R21 is same as 1 2. So what is R12? 0.8. R23 is 0.5 and R13 0.6 upon 1 minus 0.6 square. Do the calculation. This is 0.8. This is 0.5 into 0.3, that is sorry, 0.6 into 0.5 is zero point 0.3. 0.8 minus 0.3, that is 0.5. This is 0.36. 1 minus 0.36 is 0.64. So 0.8 into 0.5 divided by 0.64. So 0.625. And now B 23.1. Now B 23.1. Yes, please tell me the formula.
Sigma 2 upon sigma 3.
Correct. Into.
R23
Hmm.
into R21
Minus
in
R21 R31.
my 31 upon 1 minus R31 whole square.
Correct. Now sigma 2 upon sigma 3. Sigma 2 8. Sigma 3 5. 8 upon 5. R 23.5. 2 1 or 1 2 is same. 0.8. 0.6. 1 3 and 2 1 is same. So it is 1.6 into zero point 0.5 minus 0.48 is 0.02, and this is 0.36. 1 minus 0.36 is 0.64. Do the calculation.
0.05.
0.05. So now we have value of B23.1, B1 1.3, and here A is 0 because x1 bar, x2 bar and x3 bar is 0. Now equation, now regression line of x1 and x3 is x2 equal to 0 plus 0.625 x2 sorry x1 plus 0.05 x3. This is our final answer. 0 x2 equal to 0.625 x1 plus 0.05 x3. So this is our final answer. x2 equal to 0.625 x1 plus 0.05 x3, and for the given value of x1 and x3 we are easily calculate the value of x2. So this type of questions are always there in exam. It is not difficult question once you know the formula. See question number 18. R12 is given, R23 is given, R31 is given, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 is given. Find out the regression line of x3 on x1 and x2. It's simple question, so it is in homework. 18. X2 bar and x3 bar is given, so A is not 0 in this case. We get some value of A, and here you have to find out the value of x3 for given value of x1 and x2. This is also simple. You can do this by yourself. This 19. What you require to calculate R 1.23. We know that how to calculate all this thing. It is almost like the example of our last lecture. Here in this we do not require this. Only these three things are enough if you know the formula. Now see this 20. The following constants are obtained from the measurement of length x1, volume x2, and weight x3 of 300x. So x1 x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar is given, r12, r13, r23 is given, s1, s2, s3 is given. Obtain the regression equation of weights, egg weight, that means x3 on x1 length and x2, x3 on x1 and x2. This is also same. So it is also in homework. Now see this question number 21. X1, X2, X3 are three variable measured from their means. Listen. X1, X2, X3 variable measured from their. Listen carefully. Let us do this question number 21. X1, X2, X3 are three variable measured from mean. That means they are like this. X1 minus x1 bar, x2 minus x2 bar, and x3 minus x3 bar. It is like this. So they are three variable measured from their means, and n is 10. Sigma x1 square is 90. Here n is 10. Sigma x1 square, that is nothing but sigma x1 minus x1 bar the whole square, that is 90. Then x2 square is 160. Sigma x2 square is nothing but sigma x2 minus x2 bar the whole square. It is 160. Sigma x3 square is nothing but sigma x3 minus x3 bar the whole square, and it is 40. Sigma x1 x2, this is nothing but sigma x1 bar minus x1 bar, x2 minus x2 bar, and that is what 60. Sigma x1 x3, that is sigma x1 minus x1 bar, x3 minus x3 bar. So we have to give one information in a different way, that is what 40, and same way we have to given this. And now we have to calculate partial correlation coefficient R 3 1.2. Now listen. R 31.2, we know the formula R31 minus R32 R12 upon root 1 minus R32 square root 1 minus R12 square. But we don't know R12, R23 and R31. So to calculate that, use the simple correlation. R12 it's like Rxy. What is the formula of R? Sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar upon root sigma x minus x bar the whole square, second root sigma y minus y bar the whole square. Same like this, you have to use the formula like this R12. So sigma, instead of x and y, you have to write 1 and 2. So x1 minus x1 bar, x2 minus x2 bar upon root sigma x1 minus x1 bar the whole square, second root sigma x2 minus x2 bar the whole square. So it's same like as correlation, and the value of x, so sigma x1 minus x1 bar, x2 minus x2 bar is given 60. So this is 60 upon root. This is given x1 minus x2 bar is 90. So this is 90 and this is 160. So first multiply 90 into 160, take its root and tell me what is the value.
120.
120 and point 5 is the value of R12. So now R12 is known. Similarly, calculate R23 and R31. What is the formula? Sigma x2 minus x2 bar, x3 minus x3 bar upon root sigma x2 minus x2 bar the whole square, second root sigma x3 minus x3 bar the whole square. What is R x23? R x23 is 60. So this is 60 root. This is 160 and this is 40. So multiply 160 with 40. Take its root. 160 into
80.
huh?
80.
80. So do this calculation 0.75. So R way you can calculate R31, and once we have all this value, you can easily calculate this R31.2. So this is the way to find out the answer. Complete this question. Here also you require to calculate capital R 1.23. That is also possible once we know R12, R13 and R23. And also you can calculate regression equation of x1 and x2. That is also possible. And this is you can consider as important question. And this question number 22, that is simple. Everything is given here and you have to calculate this thing. So that is homework. So this is the end of this chapter. You can solve remaining all question. If you find any problem, we will discuss in our next lecture, and then after we will start our new topic. So this is enough for today. Any problem to any of the student, you can ask your doubt.